G'day guys, my name's Miles.
And my name's Faz.
And this is The Commodity, and today we're reacting to Australia's capital could have looked very different.
You went into like a baby voice.
Very
different.
I feel like I got really slow too.
Yeah, you
like
did.
I had to think.
Or you sounded like,
about
what's the
how-
bird? Sylvester? Tweety. very different.
Guys, Australia's capital could have looked very different, and I want to find out how, thanks to Heath Chaz.
We see you, bro.
Heath Chaz requested this 3 days in a row. Thank you, Heath. We see you. So I am excited to check this out. From what I saw in comments and things, this gives kind of an alternate history. And I want to say that's actually an alternate Canberra. So alternate history of Australia.
I feel like that's pronounced wrong. Canberra.
Canberra. Yeah, Canberra.
Correct us if we're
Guys,
wrong.
if y'all saw our Australian video that came out 2 days ago,
We have to apologize. Oh my goodness.
it was
bad.
Great Southern Land. We had so many requests to do Great Southern Land
So many.
video reaction, and everybody that requested it said, check out this video. Okay, so in our mind, we see this really blurry video, and we know that the music's gonna get copyrighted. So we're like,
I like
why
how you're
would
telling it so slow, like, please don't hate us.
why would we react to a blurry video? Like, we thought you guys just really wanted us to watch that blurry video,
Yeah.
but really it was the music that you wanted us to hear,
and I took it
and that's the one thing that we cut out.
because we were afraid of copywriting.
Yeah, we've almost lost our channel before due to copywriting, and so that was it's touchy for us.
Yeah.
We will do it. I'm okay with doing it. We can post it. We can try and monetize it. If they hit us with copyright, we get a copyright.
But what if they hit us with a strike?
Somebody else has reacted to it before. There's no strikes.
Okay.
So, yeah, we apologize
So stupid.
for our stupidity. Let us know next time if it's a music video.
Yeah, I feel like this was a team effort of mistakes.
At the same time, I'm watching the video, and I'm hearing the words "Great Southern Land." I'm like, damn, like this music goes perfect with the title.
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking that, and then it's the music.
And it
video.
makes more sense why it's such a short title like that.
And yeah,
You know what I mean?
it does. So, you know what? Let us know in the comments if you guys want to see us react to Great Southern Land music video.
Again.
But to the actual music this
Yeah.
time, not just the music
Because
video.
when we first started playing it, I didn't pay much attention to the music because
I did, because I kept hearing Great Southern Land.
yeah, I heard that part. And then when I went to go edit it, I listened to it again, but my mind was like, this sounds like an actual song.
Right.
So we need to get rid of this song.
Yeah.
So we don't get copyrighted.
Yeah.
So
sorry.
I take full. I mean, we all screwed up on this
Yes.
one.
We're in agreement that we don't use other people's music just because we've almost lost our channel before, but
Yeah, we were this close.
yeah.
You get two copyright strikes. Third strike, you're out.
yeah, and we were at 2, and then as soon as one dropped off, we got another.
Yeah, so that was so.
So if we would have accidentally done that, we would have been gone.
Yeah.
But guys, let's go ahead and hop into this video. We're gonna shut up and watch
Yeah.
this now.
But guys, subscribe. We're trying to hit 100,000 subscribers before we start traveling. So hit that subscribe button, bell notification, please. Por favor. Por favor.
After many years of deliberation and debates, the 6 British colonies of Australia united into one country in 1901.
I would like to say one more thing. We also said that Sydney was in Victoria.
And then it's in Queensland.
No, it's in New South Wales.
Tomato, tomato.
Forming the Commonwealth of Australia.
I just read something and said it.
Leading up to this decision, one of the matters that had been fiercely contested was the question of which city would become the capital of the young nation.
That's a really cool piece of art.
On the one hand, Sydney, the
So
oldest
is that
city
one.
in the country, seemed like a natural choice, but due to the
Photography's art.
Victorian gold rush, Melbourne had grown to become Australia's largest city and also lay claim to the title. Since neither of the two would accept the other, the result was a compromise.
Melbourne.
While the government was temporarily set up in Melbourne, it was decided that a completely new capital would be constructed somewhere between them. Soon, an extensive search for a suitable site was underway, and in October 1908, having been presented with 11 options, the House of Representatives...
You know what this picture reminds me of? Have you ever seen the movie 100 Ways to Die in the West?
It's been a while.
But there's like, have you ever seen anybody smile in a picture? It's awkward. You don't smile in pictures. Everybody knows you don't smile in pictures. It's crazy. Like, why didn't anybody ever smile? Like, this guy's got kind of a smirk going on.
No, he looks pissed, actually.
He kind of does.
Look into it.
But why didn't people... This is like...
And that one's just enjoying... It looks like he's got a glass of alcohol, but that might not be a glass.
No, I don't think so either.
It's probably a pipe like that one.
Yeah. It's just interesting.
Held the decisive vote on the matter. The narrow winner was a site known as Yas Canberra, located about 150 miles southwest of Sydney in the foothills of the Australian Alps.
Yes.
Many names were suggested for the new city, including Olympus, Captain Cook, Eucalypta, Kangaroo, and Myola. But in the end,
those
the
are all
local
good
name
work.
Canberra won out.
Canberra.
With the site selected, a plan was needed to construct the city, and hoping to get the very best the world could offer, an international design competition was launched in 1911. By the deadline in February the next year, a whole 137 different designs had been received, envisioning various versions of the ideal city of the future. These are too many to cover in one video.
Some are very European style. That's very American style.
It's not always easy. But here I'd like to showcase one design that's completely different from what actually got built, and looks like something straight out of a fantasy novel. The entry by the British designer and architect Ernest Gimson. Ernest Gimson was an influential figure in the English arts and crafts movement, which sought to bring back traditional craftsmanship to the decorative arts after what it saw as a steep decline in quality following the onset of the Industrial Revolution and mass production. Best known as a furniture designer, Gimson also worked as an architect and had by this time designed a number of private homes.
What kind of roof is that?
I've actually seen some guy that actually does these roofs on TikTok. It's like a...
Like a felt?
It's kind of... It looks like straw of some sort when they make it, and they actually cut it up to even it out, and they tack it in. It's really cool.
Yeah.
And apparently it's very resilient and lasts forever. Like, not forever. I mean, you got to replace it. But for what it is, it's pretty resilient.
Yeah.
His reason for entering the competition was to test his ideals of a self-sufficient community in harmony with its surroundings.
To be fair,
that could also meet the...
To be fair, our style of roofs here get replaced all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if there's ever like a hailstorm or something like that.
Needs and demands of a 20th century city. The site that he and his competitors had to work with consisted of undulating pasture land interspersed with homesteads and farms. Running through its center was the intermittent Molonglo River, surrounded by rolling hills, and notable for his design, Camp Hill and Currajong Hill located south of it. Rising above the site to the northwest and east were the eucalyptus-covered slopes of Mount Ainslie and Black Mountain, and further in the distance were large snow-capped mountain ranges. Whereas many other entries into the competition envisioned an imposing city with grand boulevards and public buildings here, Gimson's vision for Canberra is a lot more quaint and cozy. It's characterized by winding streets and buildings faced in a local light-colored stone, interspersed here and there with irregularly shaped squares and gardens.
See, it's cool because you can, like, I don't remember where I read about it or learned about it, the different styles of cities and stuff. You can tell, like, if a city's from Europe without seeing any major, landmarks or something like that.
Style.
Yeah, this is very, very British.
But it's... this is a cool design.
No, I love it. I think.
Could you imagine if it was built like this with the buildings like this with a little garden? In
I wish that's how we had it built here in the U.S. Now the downfall is you're close to your neighbors, so you're going to hear everything.
Well, and the city's also losing a lot of space, not taking up that.
Yeah.
Obviously, this was done for more economical reasons, and now it's done for bigger population and more money.
In this way, the design reflects the arts and crafts emphasis on vernacular building, but also the views of the Austrian urban theorist Camillo Sitte, who had criticized the monotonous gridiron plans of modern cities and instead
That looks
proposed
like
taking
London.
inspiration
That looks
from
like
the picturesque
downtown
urbanism
London.
of the Middle Ages. In accordance with Gimson's ideals, the city, which would have an initial population of a bit over 25,000, would be able to support itself based on neighboring farms and small-scale industry.
So it's like really thought out.
Yeah.
At its center, he placed a large wooded park encompassing the two hills mentioned earlier. The Houses of Parliament, crowned with golden domes and surrounded by 8 public offices, have been placed on the larger Kurrajong Hill, whereas
That's
the
pretty.
State Hall stands atop Camp Hill at the other end of the park. From this building, one of the city's rare straight roads runs towards the cathedral, the grandest of 10 planned houses of worship. Continuing on its other side, the road eventually reaches an artificial lake created by the construction of a weir across the river.
That looks dope.
It
A road
does.
can be seen running all along its shore, and it's lined with an arcade to shelter you from rain and heat. The lake is crossed by 3 bridges, with one of them leading to a narrow piece of land featuring a stadium.
Oh,
from
that's
whence you
cool.
get
On the
good
very
views
bottom.
of the capital. On the opposite side of the town, a market house has been placed along the shore, with a covered arcade for the stalls enclosing an open square.
Could you imagine the traffic leaving
Leaving the
a
stadium.
game?
It'd be so miserable.
Returning to the Houses of Parliament, we find the City Hall located below it, with its main entrance towards the park. To its right, at the edge of the town, is a group of university buildings.
I love how in-depth he's getting with this.
In order to enter
Yeah.
Canberra, you would most likely go by train, arriving at the station located far to the southeast. Beyond it lies the industrial area, placed in such a way that the prevailing winds would blow the smoke away from the city. On the other side of the station, you would have been met with a garden suburb, primarily inhabited by the people working in the factories. To quickly get around the city, you could hop on one of its trams.
They said 25,000 people.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, this vision of
That's actually
Australia's
pretty
capital
big.
as a compact city with a traditional feel lacked the grandeur called for by the government and failed to encapsulate the progressive
Especially
pioneering
during that
spirits of
time.
the young country. As a result, it was rejected and didn't make it into the top 3 entries.
That's crazy. That's so cool. I like
Yeah.
that design.
Instead, third place went to the French architect Alfred Agache, who had studied at the École des Beaux-Arts and proposed a city resembling Paris. Second
Paris.
place was awarded
Paris.
to Eliel Saarinen from Finland, whose design was influenced by the stern Art Nouveau or Jugendstil that was popular in Northern Europe at the time.
That looks like way too much.
That looks exhausting to design. That's
Like,
all drawn by
The
hand.
other one was like, it looked more
I think that's drawn by
simplistic
hand. I don't
and
know.
beautiful. This looks like
I think it's just the way it's
too intricate.
it makes me think of Roman
Mm-hmm.
times.
Yeah, because you've got the buildings here, and then it looks like steps down.
And all the buildings are
Too-
too
Perfect.
uniform.
Yeah.
Like you want like we call it cookie
it's
cutter
yeah.
here.
See, it's got the steps.
Nobody wants
down.
cookie cut. I mean, there's definitely neighborhoods, especially if you're trying to be within a certain price range, but cookie cutter is always frowned upon here.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. In
Yeah,
Australia.
everywhere.
The
I'm
entry was
sure.
made by the American Walter Burley Griffin in collaboration with his wife, Marion
Damn
Mahoney.
Americans.
Griffin's intention was to make a city unlike any other in the world, composed
That's
of a number
dope.
of geometrically laid out communities with an emphasis on democracy and nature.
That looks
But
good.
not even
That looks
the winning
cool.
design was built, at least not as originally intended. 2 world wars and the Great Depression led to a reduction in scope of the design and greatly delayed its
Wow.
implementation. The city that eventually took shape is clearly based on Griffin's design, but none of the great buildings that he had envisioned were ever constructed.
Go back. Did they say he's from the U.S.?
Mm-hmm.
You can tell. It looks just like Washington, D.C. It has a lot of very similarities. Washington has in front of the Capitol. It has what do they call it? The
The
yacht.
lake thing. Or
Well,
the-
it does have the water, but in front of it, it has like a huge stretch of land just like that, which is cool. I mean, Washington D.C. is a very unique part of our country because nothing else is built like it. I think it's based off of European style, actually. I could be wrong though. So
based on Griffin's design, but none of the great
The
buildings
mall?
that he'd envisioned
I forget what they
were
call
ever
it.
constructed. If we compare modern Canberra to the city envisioned by Gimson, we find that his compact urban environment is now mostly occupied by large gardens and public buildings, and is intersected at each end by an avenue
That's super
taking you
cool. I
across the
like
river
that.
to parts of the city which in Gimson's plan were still a wilderness. Despite this, there are actually some similarities as well. Currajong Hill, where he'd placed his Parliament building, has since 1988 been the site of Parliament House and is now known as Capitol Hill.
That's dope. It has the grass going all the way
Yeah.
up the building. That's really cool.
That is
The
very
Molonglo
cool.
River also ended up being dammed to create an artificial lake.
I've never seen a hot air
But
balloon.
the city of winding streets and golden
You
domes
have.
envisioned
I don't
over
care
100
what you
years
say.
ago by Gimson can only really be experienced through the vivid
We'll
drawings
go to the Plano
submitted to
one
the
this
competition.
That was awesome.
That was really cool. That was really in depth too, but not like overly in depth. You know, when it's like a 45-minute video that can be put in 8 minutes.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure he could go way more in depth. I feel like his forte is architecture.
Yeah.
Like maybe not so much the area, but more like architecture, because I feel like he pointed out multiple different styles.
Mm-hmm.
It was really cool.
Oh, I
though.
agree.
I enjoyed this video.
Don't talk trash because we talked over the guy. We just had cool things to say.
Cool. So cool. We just talk cool stuff.
We speak our minds when our
Yeah.
minds speak to us.
That's called communication. Oh, brain. Let me say this to my friend.
The original design that he was showing would have been, the concept was amazing. I mean, it would have,
The one with the stadium off. To the
yeah.
side?
I
That's the
mean,
one error I see. That'd be miserable.
Oh yeah, going to and from games would suck when as the city grows. But you can make the bridge bigger.
Well, they could
Aside
also
from
make
that-
the bridge one way during the beginning of the game, and then one way, because a lot of like areas turn into one-way roads here in the States.
Well,
For
aside from
stadiums.
that, the city itself, the way it was mapped out and laid out, it wasn't too, I mean, it was uniformed, but it wasn't so, like, as cookie cutter, like you say, where it had so many sharp edges and just so squared off.
Right.
His was more of a rounded off, just smooth. It looked like it would have been just a calm, peaceful place to live.
Yeah.
Whereas,
Where you have your privacy and everything.
yeah, whereas not the one that went through, but the one prior to that was just so intricate and
Too-
sharp, just too sharp.
That was probably just the artwork. It looked like he used a protractor and all
Yeah.
the different measuring.
Way too sharp.
Yeah.
Could cut you. And then obviously, the damn American.
Came in and won it all. Isn't that the one they went off of? Was
Yes.
The Americans?
Yes.
I mean, it still looks good. I think any of them would have looked fantastic. It just depends on what age is better, I guess, more than anything.
Yeah. Well, see, that's another thing that I'm taking into consideration is if it would have been the original one that he showed. Could you imagine obviously there's history
Right.
at your capital right now, but
It would look more historical.
it would look more historical.
Yeah. And you might not want that, though, either.
Yeah.
Because that kind of makes it look old when you're trying to become more of a updated city.
I love that Sydney and Melbourne couldn't come up with, they couldn't agree to
Yeah.
one or the other to be the capital.
Yeah, so they put it like in the middle of the two.
Yeah.
But guys, if you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button. If you want to see our future videos, hit the subscribe button and bell notification. Don't forget, we're trying to hit 100,000 subscribers before we hit the plane to Malaysia.
Don't you forget.
Don't forget. And of course, if you want to support us directly, hit the join button. And with that being said,
My name's Miles.
my name's Fez.
Thanks for watching, guys.
Peace.
Stay tuned, mates. Good eye, guys. My name's... That was too hard.
Wow.
Good eye, guys.